Good morning. It's Allison here on the right side with JP. There is no Amy Beth, which is funny because we actually started on time during the music playing. Is Amy Beth the problem, JP?
No, I think it's just a combination of y'all both because y'all would distract each other.
We're usually shopping
Or
and
usually-
talking about wrinkles, schminkles.
Oh, by the way. Oh, did you see? Oh, wait, by the way. Oh, and I'm just like,
hello. Yeah, and we just, it's so subtle. It's just a little, and we miss it. JP, how was your night?
It was good. I actually played the new college football game for the first time last night.
What does that mean? You played in like Jordan Hare? What do you mean?
No, they just came out with the 2027 college football, the new game. It actually came out earlier.
Is that what it's
month.
called? College? I'm going to pick up the new college football game?
Yep. College football 2027. It came out actually earlier this month, but last night was the first night I played it. So my friend and I played. And then we played a bunch of other games, but it was a pretty chill. I needed a chill night last night. So I had a pizza in the oven, a stuffed crust pizza, and just played video games, chilled.
Aw. Bachelor night.
I needed a reset night.
You need a reset. Well, we stayed home. Gosh, we have been so busy lately. And generally we have a lot going on with 4 kids. It's like the world never slows down. And they say that y'all get easier as you get older, or it's not as physically demanding. And like when you go to the beach, you don't have to build a sand castle. No, y'all are still exhausting at 20 something. But last night we stayed home, we grilled steaks, everybody was there. And then we watched a really good movie. And it was myself, my husband, the 20 something, and then our 18-year-old. And we all liked it. And that hasn't happened in a long time. It's probably one of the best movies I've seen in a while. And it's called Pressure.
Oh, I've heard of it.
It's on Peacock. Pull it up and see if you can pull it up.
Oh, is this about D-Day?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I've heard about this from so many people. I need to watch it.
Y'all need to watch it. It was so good. It's kind of Brendan Fraser's comeback story, but he's Eisenhower. So he is a main character. I say he's not, but it's about the weather and the meteorologist that really helped us win.
Yeah.
And storm the beaches, but it is so well done. Really, really good.
You're like the 10th person to recommend. Amy Beth recommended it to me a week or two ago too. So
she's always ahead of the curve.
She did it though when it was just me and her. She like got here first and she was like, we watched Pressure last night. Kind of like what you just did. Exactly that.
Well, y'all need to go watch it because I thought it was fabulous. And that's my way of learning history. Now, I get it. You have to take, and I'm sure there's some creative liberties in there as there is with all of Hollywood. But generally, I'm learning a lot through these movies and the Washington documentary. And I really regret it. I've said this before. I regret that I didn't pay more attention in history, but it was really good.
I really like history movies, even though they do take liberty. My history knowledge or learning, though, came pretty much all after college and on my own. Like I knew the basics from school. Yeah. But I was just so interested. I'd listen to long podcasts about like, I listened to a 9-hour podcast, obviously not continuous, about the Israel-Palestine, like from 1948 up until the Yom Kippur War, like the history of how it got there. Just stuff like that. I feel like that if you're actually interested in it and do it on your own, you almost learn it better than in school.
I would have assumed that your love for history started in school.
Well, it did, but I still was like, this is school. Yeah, I was a kid. Yeah. So I was interested and I got the foundations, but like the actual like retaining and depth of knowledge came on my own, just being interested in it.
I guess it's something, it seemed so irrelevant at the time. And I feel very naive and silly for saying that because we are watching so many things that are happening today that are just a repeat of things that have happened in the past. And you start talking about cultures. I know we're going to talk about the invasion into Spain that just happened, which is bizarre, but you can learn so much and people's behavior doesn't change. I will say people groups' behavior doesn't change in a lot of ways.
Yep.
And we need to act and govern accordingly.
Well, it's just like how we've got my generation that loves socialism. It's because they don't know how it ends every time. It always starts the same way. And that's why it drives me nuts when people are like for my column, for example, when I called it communism, they're like, get a book. Okay. Socialism and communism are not the same thing. It's, I just don't get how stupid you have to be to fall for that lie again of, socialism always ends up with communism. But yeah, it is because of the not knowing the history and how it plays out that you fall for it again.
Well, this is kind of long. I don't know if we want to play the whole thing. Let me see if I can find it. Dang it. Did I not bookmark it? Bookmark it. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm. Or save.
Watching the movie last night and what we went through to conquer communism, the people that died to conquer communism, socialism, democratic socialism, national socialism, I don't care what you call it, it's all the same thing. It is really tragic to watch where we are now. The Babylon Bee put out this video and it's several minutes long, and we might it stick with it, but let's watch it. I just texted it to you because it explains exactly the far right, the far left, the socialists, and what is happening in New York City and what is going on. And I think back to what Caitlin said yesterday, that it was kind of my fault, her dad's fault for this, of we gave y'all a squishy life and you never really had to work for anything. So you expect everything to come to you free. I mean, Caitlin was saying the money just came out of a tube at the bank. It's like you just pull up, beep, beep, and take $300, please. And it just shoots down and you go shopping. So I just thought this was really good. And I think, well, just watch it. Tell me what you think.
Okay. So good. So good.
I'm a time traveler from the year 2025, and I've come here to kill you, Hitler.
Oh, not again. I'm never gonna have enough time to finish these paintings with all of these time travelers trying to kill me.
Well, I'm going to succeed.
Before you pull the trigger, can I just ask why? Why do all of you people want to kill me?
Isn't it obvious? I'm a progressive, a liberal, a fighter for social justice. And you are a fascist who implemented a reign of terror. And while the effects of your policies devastated the world for decades, soon we will be able to take back the White House, and we will be able to use the government to force people to follow our great ideas.
You want to use government power to force your ideas on the populace. Me too! That's fantastic!
What? No. Ugh. You and I have nothing in common. What I'm saying is there are people in our time with dangerous ideas, and we need to silence them.
Silencing those who disagree with you. I do that too! Oh, wunderbar! Oh, the Nazi movement will not die with me.
Don't give me that! I'm enlightened, and you're as bad as... well, as Hitler. Listen, what I'm trying to say is we are very close to implementing a utopia, as long as we can get rid of some certain undesirable people groups.
Yes, like the Jews.
Yes, like the Jews. Oh.
So, in the future,
Oh.
you also do not like the Jews?
Well, no. But we don't believe in segregating all the races like you do. I mean, except for, like, graduation ceremonies. And dorms. And hiring practices. Oh, and admissions policies. That sort of thing.
I, too, am a fan of the segregation. I'm sorry, I have to ask, is this a real firearm or is this some kind of toy for kids?
It's a flare gun. I'm trying not to support America's toxic gun culture. I'm a firm believer in gun control.
Gun control! This was one of my ideas, too. Ban them from the undesirables. Yes, look here. And your shirt. This is an organization founded by Margaret Sanger. Yes?
Wait, you know about Margaret Sanger?
Jawohl, of course. Oh, she's such a lovely person.
No. She's a fighter for reproductive rights, for women's empowerment,
And the eradication of undesirable populations by means of eugenics. Brilliant lady, very inspiring. I must use some of her ideas in our socialized healthcare system.
socialized healthcare.
Mhm.
That's not your thing. That's our thing.
No, it's very much my thing. Did you know that Nazi means National Socialist German Workers' Party? Nazi is just more catchy. Nazi. Just rolls off the tongue.
No. This can't be true. This has to be some sort of mistake. We are nothing alike. You're Adolf Hitler, evil right-wing fascist dictator, and I'm a feminist restorative justice advocate. And a vegetarian.
You're a vegetarian? Me too!
Okay, I am so confused right now. I came here with a clear goal in mind to kill the most evil man to have ever lived. Besides Ronald Reagan. But now that I'm meeting you in person, you're not at all what I thought you were. And your painting is actually really good.
Oh my gosh.
What do you call it?
I call it Ein Reich ohne Juden.
Wow. I don't know what that means, but it sounds beautiful.
It does, doesn't it?
That's good.
I mean, that was kind of long,
No, it was
but
good.
it sums it up. I mean, that is exactly, and they call us Nazis, Hitler, woke right, far right. Donald Trump's a fascist. Donald Trump's a dictator. Theocracy, Christian nationalism. And that is exactly what they are.
Yep.
Exactly. But is this the ultimate gaslighting experiment of the world ever? Because the right is falling into, well, you're right. We should have guilt. We shouldn't defend this. It is kind of unbelievable to me that people are supporting that.
I think, you talked about Caitlin yesterday mentioning y'all and how you're racist and meaning y'all's generation. I wouldn't say it's like the individual parents. I mean, we'll say some it may be. I think it was just the natural result of a decades, a generation of comfortability and being the best in the world, like the post World War II and the post Cold War empire that America was, and there was no reason to be on guard. And so just kind of the natural regression is you forget what got you there and you think that everything is just given to you. Well, we just grew up in America where everything was given to us, where they don't realize what it took to get that. So I think
It's exactly what happened to the Roman Empire.
exactly. Yeah. And then they don't have any actual threat of invaders. So, and us as humans, we have to have something to fight in terms of like our purpose. And so if you're comfortable for too long and you don't have to worry about actual people coming and taking your country, then well, am I a man or a woman? Oh, am I gay or am I not? That becomes your,
Am I a cat or am
exactly.
I a dog?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's the individual, like how, I just think it's the natural consequence of just being comfortable for that long.
Well, we got deep really fast, but I think watching that movie last night, and as they're getting off the boats, how many people died
Oh yeah.
for this cause, and we're just rolling out the red carpet. That's not what I plan to do. I plan to do something kind of fun this first
What
segment.
were you gonna do?
Well, we're going to a big event tomorrow night.
Mhm.
We're going to the Algop dinner with Tommy Tuberville, Katie Britt, Bruce Pearl, Brandon Gill, Tim Burchett, Brylan Hollyhand, who actually will be in the studio during the 11 o'clock hour today. Don't want to miss that. Travis Johnson. Who am I missing?
Tim Burchett,
I think I said Tim.
Bruce Pearl.
I think I said him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think so. It's going to be awesome. I think you can still get tickets. Hey, they will not turn away your money. But I have some tips. So we're gonna walk through like tips on it's actually for kids, but I figured we could use it. Kind of how to make people feel good and how to interact in social settings. Different little tips and tricks. This is good for Gen Z. Then we'll have word of the day. Then we'll have Yammer. We're going to go through at some point. Well, we'll have the montage. And then at some point, because Abs isn't here to do the plunge, I thought we would walk through, and it's fitting for what we just watched, the Democratic Socialist platform. And they put that out recently. And I think just walk through the main points. James Lindsay actually put something out that breaks down. It's way too intellectual for me, but we're going to simplify it, kind of go through that. But first, I wanted to get your all's thoughts. This is this is really cute. So my kids, are going through, well, they're like, my oldest is 20, almost 24. And then I've got a 22 and a 20 and an 18. And they're all, they're looking for the one. Okay. But we're also entering the workforce. We're going to work events. We're networking.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some things that you can do to help yourself out. I've told Connor, who actually he has a degree in supply chain, but he's a project manager for Brassfield and Gorey. He didn't do building science. He's not a civil engineer. And so he's a little bit further behind in terms of what he knows. But I'm like, what you can do is you can be the first one to show up at the job. You can be the last one to leave. You can be a team player. You can make everybody feel better. You can be positive. You can ask questions and admit that you don't know it all. So here's some things. It says 7 social skills that make people feel comfortable around you. These are the things that show up on my algorithm now because I'm trying to teach my kids. Hey, these things are important. Because what did you say the other day? What is being a young professional? It's networking. It's who you know. It's how you interact with people.
And honestly, that's politics too. But for everything, it's your network and who you know.
Yeah.
And how you can. Yeah.
I think even as kids, my husband was playing golf this week with one of his customers, and there was an 11-year-old that was playing golf behind them by himself. And so they would stand on the green and watch him hit, and just kind of like he would make it to the green, and Jared and his friend would clap. And anyway, they kind of formed a little friendship with this 11-year-old, and Jared was so impressed. He was like, he was having a conversation with us. When we were leaving, he came up to me and said, Mr. Sinclair, it was so nice to meet you. Tell me something, because Jared may have gone to high school or something with his mom. That's a rarity of kids and people that understand how to interact, because everything happens behind the phone. Basic things. We're going to learn a little lesson here. Say hello first. Most people wait for someone else to make the first move. Confident people learn how to start the interaction. What do you think?
That's good. I try and do a good job of that. I guess I don't verbally say hello first often. I'll just handshake, but I probably should say, hey, how are you first?
I think it's hard. It's always, especially, okay, so like tomorrow when we go to the Algop dinner, you've got very important or self-important people in a room. So there's a delicate balance between, you don't want to be the person that is fangirling or whatever, but they're just normal people.
Right.
So figuring that out, but being willing to step up and walk into a crowd, shake a hand, say hello. That's what I teach my kids. Don't be a wallflower. You're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to meet anyone.
Sure.
You're not going to make those connections. Just do it. They're just people.
I don't know if it's on the list later on, but I would put handshake in terms of firm handshake on top of that.
Look them in the eye.
Yeah.
Give a biggest pet peeve. Men, if you're listening, first of all, women, go in with the manly handshake. And it's not even manly. It's just a confident handshake. Please don't do this.
I hate the dead fish.
Oh, don't do this.
I hate when men do that more, though.
We're not in the 1700s. I cannot stand it when a man does that to me.
Oh.
Like, just shake my hand.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh my gosh, Allison! I
What?
know I've said this before about the first time I met you, but that was 100% you. When you walked in the studio, you walked in first with Phil, and you walked right up to me and you stuck your hand out. I said, "I'm Allison Sinclair," but you had a manly handshake. I remember because I didn't know if you would give me like the, oh hello. It was put it there.
Okay, so I practice what I
You
preach.
did, yeah.
Wonder what Abs did.
Oh, Abs walked
Did
in
she
behind you,
curtsy?
and I remember she was distracted. She was like, oh. I don't know what was
She
going on, but
fixing her hair.
she was fixing her hair. Anyway, yeah.
That is funny. Okay, I'm glad to know I did it. Ask follow-up questions. People feel valued
Yes.
when they feel heard. Instead of immediately talking about yourself, stay curious and ask
Yes.
questions.
Yes. That is when I because I used to be really nervous going in. I didn't have social anxiety, but I'm a natural I'm an introverted extrovert. Like I want to talk to people, but the first interactions really always made me nervous. So my default was, well, I'm safe because I know me. So maybe I can just talk about me. But that's one of the things I've had to learn. And if you are genuinely curious, that helps interactions so much because there's not anything that people want to talk about more than themselves.
It's true.
So there's some study about how people after interactions, they view it more positively if they got to talk about them, so just let them ask you questions about you, but you need to be the engaged and curious,
It's so true. People will always leave with a good memory of a conversation with you if they feel like they talked about themselves.
Exactly.
And but you can't do it in a disingenuous way. I read one time, what was the book? I can't remember what it was called, but it was talking about, when you go up and because I hate small talk. I despise small talk. I really want to ask you what your biggest regret is the first time we meet kind of thing. But it was talking about kind of finding, so where, you flew in from so-and-so, is that where you grew up? And then they will answer and let's say, yeah, I grew up there. My dad was in the military and I had 2 dogs. Well, pick out something they said. My dad was in the military. Oh, I have a friend that was in the military. And how was that growing up? They said whatever. Just pick something to keep threading it along.
Of all the
in
interactions I've seen Allison Sinclair have, she's the king of that.
It's
great.
Exhausting.
No, but that's why people feel comfortable talking to you.
Yeah, well, we'll be in the corner crying by the end of the night. But that's what I'm going for.
Mm.
Remember people's names. Okay, that one's hard for me.
I'm bad at that.
And use their names. I think that's the key. Use their names when you're having a conversation with them. Instead of just, so what do you? So, gosh, JP, it's so nice to meet you. JP, so what are you doing after you leave? Use their names. Match the mood. If someone is excited, celebrate with them. If someone is sharing something serious, slow down and listen. Socially skilled people learn how to read the room. That's hard to do too, because some people can be a real drag.
Yeah, and you kind of have to, that's almost something you have to be born with, I guess, of being perceptive. I mean, you can work on it, obviously, but some people are just naturally more perceptive.
Well, if you walk in and you're in a good mood, but then somebody had a terrible day and their dog died, you kind of don't want to be like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I had a great walk.
Drink.
I had a great walk with my dog this morning. Yeah. Dave, y'all have dogs?
Yeah. Include the person standing alone. That's a big one. A quick invitation can completely change someone's day. Did you do that in high school?
I did. I tried to. Middle school, really, especially, I was friends with everybody. Like I was friends with the band kids, the sports kids, the kid that I just knew because I sat next to in math class. I naturally just wanted to be friends with everybody. And
I think that it's not just a middle school thing. I mean, think about when we go, who do you remember? Oh, let's just use politicians for an example. Say let's see, who would be a good one? Actually, Katie Britt is really good about it. Say you're Katie Britt. You have every reason in the world to probably only talk to the Donald Trumps
and
the JD Vances and the people in your echelon and up. but she actually is really good about talking to everyone. She'll remember a name, she'll come up to you, and I can see her being the one that will talk to the janitor as well as Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And that's how you want to be. You want to, it doesn't matter. And somebody said you can tell so much about a person with how they treat a server or somebody in a lesser position than them. Be the person that makes them feel better.
You know who else is good at that? Is Tim Burchett. You know, he's like really good, really good friends with AOC. And
that's true.
You know, he's done videos where like she's in the background of his, like he'll be walking out and be like, "Hey guys, we just passed this. Oh, there's AOC. Say hi."
It's a cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is good about that. And those are the people that you remember that, I don't know, life's hard for people. So try and make their day a little better. All right. Last, this one's hard. End conversations politely. Not that it's hard to end them politely, but you know, at some point, and especially small talk, you got to get out of a conversation. And I think like have a good exit strategy. It was nice talking to you.
I'm bad at that too.
Have a good exit strategy. Sometimes I have to go to the bathroom.
I kind of just like,
and that's awkward.
I kind of just like to look for something to like naturally like.
What? Then you just ghost them?
No.
I kind of feel like tomorrow night we should be like, thank you. It was so great talking to you. I hope you have a great night or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I think with me, my social battery, it's getting a lot better. Gosh, it used to be so bad, but my social battery, I do hit a wall still at some point. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm with y'all and y'all never hit your wall. So it makes it more evident when I hit my wall.
You do start, it goes in order. You start hitting the wall, then Abs hits the wall, and then y'all have to drag me out.
But the good thing is I can just follow y'all along and y'all can just kind of drag me to the end.
It's fun. We have a fun time together. Anyway, those are my tips for you.
That was good.
Yeah. We need to stick with that. Hey, do we want to go on to Yammer? Because we have kind of a funky, because Bryland's coming in at 11:10.
Yeah.
Or what do you want to do?
We can do Yammer until like 10:35, take a break, come back, and then take instead of to 11, go to 11:05, and then come back with Bryland at 11:10. Does that make sense?
That sounds fabulous.
So we can go ahead. I have a really funny Yammer story actually. So
I can't decide which ones to do, but go ahead.
Let's see. Okay, it is time for
shoot.
Word of the day.
Yeah.
Sure, we didn't do word of the day.
Dang it. Okay, word of the day, then Yammer when we come back, then the montage.
Casca.
And then all the things.
All right, good. Are you ready for word of the day?
No, hold on. Word of the, oh, shoot. Now I'm ready.
I guess I got to dance with you today because Abs is not here.
This is not what I thought it meant. This is interesting. Okay. Hit it.
Three, 2, 1.
Kind of looks like I have angel wings.
It does.
Yes. I do have angel wings. This is you know this word, but I don't think. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
What was that?
Just ignore it. Just ignore it.
Are we going to break?
No, we're not.
All right.
Just
This
ignore
word means very hot and humid when it describes such things as seasons, days, and weather. When it describes things humans do and possess, voices, poses, looks, and the like, it means exciting or capable of exciting, strong desire.
What does it start with?
Starts with an S. Very hot and humid when it describes such things as seasons and weather. When it describes humans, voices, poses, looks, and the like, it means exciting or capable of exciting, strong desire. Oh, wait, I already told you S.
I think I know. I don't want to say it, though.
It's very hot and blank outside.
Ian from Hartsel said swamp ass. Not that.
Is that? I think that's the opposite of strong desire.
I don't know.
It's very sultry.
Oh, I was not going to say soldier.
Yeah, I did not. I've never used the word sultry in terms of hot and humid. Have you?
No. I just say it's muggy.
It's hot as Hale County out here, is what I say.
Brad from Crimestone got it.
Brad. I should be happy for him. That's what the little person on my manners list would. When someone's excited, when someone's smarter than you, be excited that they're smarter than you.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine.
All right, you ready for Gen Z word of the day?
Oh, we never gave away our hat the other day.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to go back and visit that.
You ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready.
We may have done this one. I can't remember. This is used as a verb to refer to someone who has delivered something exceptionally well. It can be used in a similar way to the slang, quote, killed it. It is generally used in the context of fashion or performance as a compliment. You can also use this word as a response to anything cool or awesome. Starts with an S.
Slayed.
Yep.
I was going to say cooked. No.
Cooked is another good one.
Slay, girl.
Yeah,
Slay.
that's more of a girl word.
Ward.
Girl word.
Slay. You're slaying that new t-shirt over there.
Did you tell it was new?
Yeah.
I would have worn my nice Vineyard Vines, but I wore it to church the next day. But it's gray. You'll like it.
Whoa.
It's new.
You were branching out. I haven't seen sweatpants in months. Well, no, you did wear them the other day.
Yeah, but it was Friday. I want to tell you about my girlfriend making me change in the women's dressing room, though.
Well, was the man's closed?
No, she didn't think there was a man one. And we went to the dressing room in the dress section, and I was like, I don't think this is the right one. She's like, you'll be fine.
So basically, you're a tranny.
And then we walked out, and the woman sitting there was like, you ain't supposed to be up in there.
Wait, that's really good news because I thought you didn't care. We didn't care anymore.
I guess so, yeah. That's what her dad said I should have done. I'd be like, how dare you misgender me?
But good on them.
Exactly.
But don't do it again because it
No.
makes us uncomfortable. All right, we'll be back with the montage or Yammer, the montage, the Muslim Minute, Brylan Hollyhan, a plunge into the DSA. It's going to be lit and we're going to slay it. We'll be right back.
The hardest thing to explain is the glaringly evident, which everybody has decided not to see. And if you know that that's Ayn Rand, and it's from her novel Fountainhead. But it also describes a man that has impacted our thinking and is a very influential voice, one of the most influential voices out there right now, calling us to account and refusing to ignore the glaringly evident, even if it makes people uncomfortable. And so I guess for the first time on this podcast, we'd like to welcome James Lindsay. How are you, sir?
I'm good. You giving that quote reminds me of something I actually just got introduced to and read. I encourage people to go check it out. It is an essay that was published in the New York Times in January of 1944. So you can imagine what it's about. And it's called The Nightmare That Is Reality. It's by Arthur Kessler, and he's basically describing at that point there was reasonably good evidence that Hitler had put 3 million Jews to death, and there was reasonably good evidence for that. And so he describes himself as one of these screamers, screaming about what's going on that nobody will listen to. And I think it's going to be relatable for a lot of people right now to read that.
I think we'll go read it tonight, actually.
You said the New York Times?
Yeah, The Nightmare That Is Reality, New York Times, January 9th, 1944.
Well, you haven't steered us wrong. We generally like to go pick up the things that you recommend, unless the books are like 900 pages long, and then we'll just let you tell us about it on your podcast, New Discord.
Ladies, I am buried under 600 to 900 page long books right now. I have so many of them. It's like I get a new book, like you have to read this. 936 pages. What is going on?
How do you... this is good. This isn't where I thought we'd start, but I do want to know, do you sleep and how do you coordinate it all? Because you have 900-page books to read. You're fighting the left. You're fighting the right. You just did an interview with John Stossel in which he titled Canceled by Everyone. I mean, you don't live a boring life, yet you really are the expert on so many subjects. How do you do it? And what does a typical day for James Lindsay look like?
I actually sleep a lot, believe it or not. I sleep in usually one giant block at night. I tend not to take naps. And then I get up kind of embarrassingly late in the morning. Usually, like right now, I'm trying to get out of bed by like 8:30 or 9, which is kind of late. And then I sort through my phone for like 2 hours, which is awful. Figure out kind of what the topics are, things that I've got in mind, and start doing a little kind of social media writing. Sometimes I have to deal with morning meetings or shows or podcasts or whatever. And then I do a lot of my reading through the afternoon, especially right now, like in the spring and the fall, it's really hard because it's nice and I want to go outside. But like in the summer, it's just so awful, humid and hot that I'm like, oh, I can read until evening. And so then I slog through a couple of chapters, make notes, prepare a podcast or, whatever I'm getting out of that. And then get back on the internet and fight with people after a couple hours, I guess. And then, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of traveling in there. The evening is usually thinking, writing, hanging out with the family. Then eventually I go to bed. Midnight-ish.
Are you still in Knoxville? Do you still
Yes.
you still living the life in East Tennessee?
Oh yeah.
Holding up there? You literally live right down the street from where I grew up. I think we've talked about this before.
That's right.
Topside Road.
Yeah, it's not too far.
Yep, we're right there.
That's what
So,
I'll
go
be.
Vols.
Hey guys, I'll be there next week. So
Oh, yeah,
I'll be in
you
Cosby,
will.
not too far away.
Oh.
So one of the things that caught our attention, and we have many questions, and there are things you've talked about in the past. But one of the things that I was listening to was your bullet from, I don't know if it was late last week or early this week, about Islamism. And you are speaking out about
Sorry, I was watching James Lindsay. I missed it. I saw the arm throw. It looked like you were pitching.
I was a pitcher.
Were you a pitcher?
That was one of the things I did. Yeah,
Were you good?
I was decent. I became more of a relief pitcher in high school.
That's funny. I don't know why I can't see you on a field.
Oh, baseball was my sport.
I know.
T-ball to senior year of high school. I didn't skip a year.
Wow. The many talents of JP.
I was mad though at, when they did the pitch count though in Little League.
You know whose fault that was?
I know Dr. Andrews. Yeah,
Isn't that funny?
it is. But I remember like when that came into effect and I had to get taken out. And I was mad. Couldn't go as long.
That was, what year was that?
I was around like 2013.
Yeah, because I remember it with Connor.
Yep.
So do we have any texts before we get into Yammer or the montage?
We do. If y'all want to text into the show, you can text in on the live stream you're watching or just text into 833-687-4448. Brad from Crimestone said, yeah, JP, don't fangirl. Wink. Wink emoji.
Who are you going to fangirl over? Is there anybody
well,
there?
I've never met Coach. So if I don't know if I'm going to, but he'd probably be the one. I've seen him at places. I've never actually met him. So that would be one. I guess I have never liked Bruce Pearl. Just full disclosure.
What?
I'm a Bama fan.
That does what?
I've never liked Bruce
Excuse
Pearl.
me. Like, you don't take the Bama Auburn thing, Tennessee thing out. What is there not to like about his?
He's obnoxious. I mean, think about it as a coach, or excuse me, if Bruce Pearl was a Bama basketball coach and he was like how he was, like his obnoxious sort of, and he's your rival coach, like, yeah, I'm supposed to not like Bruce Pearl. That's how it should be.
Yeah,
it's not
well,
personal.
your coach just married their intern.
Okay, well, there we can go into that, but yeah, I'm not supposed to like Bruce Pearl. And with Coach,
No,
with Tuberville, he's been a senator. It's far removed. Bruce Pearl just stopped coaching, so there's still like that. But like that's how it should be. That's how
no,
it should
it's
be.
not. I'm asking you to remove your selfish lenses and go, you don't like the Bruce Pearl that jumps in the stands without a shirt
No,
and
'cause it's
fires everybody, and take Auburn out of it. Like, plus at 2 a.m, he brought my son a juice box and donuts at the library.
I'm sure he did. I don't know. I don't hate Bruce Pearl, but I'm not going to fangirl over him right now yet. Maybe if he becomes senator one day. But Tim Burchett,
Yeah.
I would. I think Coach and Tim Burchett. But I've been dying to meet Coach. I don't know how we haven't met yet. I've seen him at several stuff. I think that's if I can meet him. Cool.
You'll meet him. But just don't be offended when he doesn't remember your name.
Oh yeah. I mean, I interviewed him on my show, my sports show I did with my friend Kelsey at WUMP out of Huntsville. He came on my show on a Saturday morning. He didn't have to do that.
The Wump?
The Wump, yeah.
I like the Wump.
Yeah, we'll see if he remembers that or not. Brad from Crimestone also said, I picked up sultry from Throw Mama from the Train, the way we all learned plethora and infamous.
Plethora.
Plethora. I don't use plethora a lot. From Three Amigos and Penultimate from Monty Python.
What does penultimate mean? Penultimate. Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Second to last or next to last.
Okay. Sultry.
Plethora. Can't believe I said plethora. Ian from Hartselle, he said, every day is a twist with the show. For example, I didn't realize we were doing the Dale Carnegie courses today.
You just never know.
You never know.
You really never know. I think that's what makes it fun. Or it's really annoying.
I think it's fun.
I think it's fun. We're not changing.
Nope. All right, you want to do Yammer first and then montage?
Yeah, I got to pick out some yammers.
Okay, well, I have a good Yammer story. All right, it's time for Yammer. This is a story from Yellowhammer. Sherry Blevins wrote this one. Stolen Fort Morgan cannonballs recovered after TSA officers make unusual airport discovery. What started as a routine baggage screening at Gulf Shores International Airport ended with the recovery of 5 stolen Fort Morgan cannonballs after TSA officers initially feared they had found a live explosive. The unusual incident unfolded July 18th when lead TSA officer Justin Dupree noticed what appeared to be a large opaque object while screening a passenger's checked bag. At first, he thought it might be a medicine ball. Instead, officers found 5 cannonballs wrapped in paper towels.
That is... Okay, keep going. How does this end? I was scared I might be holding a live explosive.
Dupree immediately notified supervisory TSA officer Richard Cash, who reviewed the X-ray image and agreed the bag could contain a dangerous item.
Oh my gosh.
Cash contacted the TSA's regional explosive specialist and assistant federal security director for law enforcement, who advised notifying local authorities. Deputies with the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office responded while TSA officials worked to determine whether the items posed a threat. Investigators later determined the cannonballs were inert and contained no explosive material or active components. Even so, Cash said they were prohibited because they are considered artillery munitions.
Go down. Okay, so the kids stolen from Fort Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then keep going down. According out of state, the juvenile took the cannonballs. How do you just walk out of?
Those got to be heavy. I'm impressed. I'm more impressed that he did that. Or she, whoever did this.
They have to be heavy too.
It says Lusk said Fort Morgan's director declined to pursue prosecution after the artifacts were returned, while the Alabama Historical Commission continues investigating how they were removed.
Do you disagree with that?
Well, no, I thought they would want to prosecute him or them. You stole 5 cannonballs.
He was a kid.
How do you know?
It said he was 11.
Where?
At the top.
Did it?
No.
I'm going to say, I think you made up that he was 11.
Hold on. I swear I saw that he was 11. Wait, what is the headline? Go back to the headline. Maybe I saw it. Maybe I saw it somewhere else.
Anyways, I'm more impressed that he was able to grab 5 cannonballs and wrap them in paper towels, but that's just a crazy
What do you do? Just like put them in your backpack.
And
Here we go.
Those have got to be heavy. Like, I don't know how can you imagine him walking into the airport like.
Yeah. That reminds me of the time we were flying back from Colorado and Jeb decided to put a frozen water balloon in his backpack and we didn't know it. So think about that. It's a water balloon and it's got the little thing on the end. And all of a sudden security comes flooding over, runs over We've all gone through. Jeb's like detained, standing with his backpack, and they pull out a leaky water balloon.
Kind of like when you try to bring your monster on the plane.
Yeah, you would have thought I had a bomb. You would have thought I had cannons.
Yeah.
It was just my monster. Okay, have y'all seen that Javier Milei has banned immigrants who express hate for Argentina?
Afuera!
Why can we not do the same? Why? Why would you let people in that hate your country? Why are we doing that?
It's a great question, Allison. I don't know.
I would like to look into Argentina's constitution.
Yeah.
I don't know what they have. What do they call it? Our bylaws, our constitution, and see, because people are just abusing ours. And so, afuera, he's saying, out with you. You shall go.
It's very smart.
Is John Cohen, is his update in the montage?
It's not in the montage exactly because I couldn't find any like clips or videos talking about it, but we do need to talk about it.
Do you want to
eventually.
talk about it now or you want to wait?
I say we get into the montage first, and then I think we can talk about it in the 11:30.
Okay. Do you have another Yammer story? Because I got one more.
I don't. You can go ahead.
Okay. Y'all, we got to figure out what to do. What to do. But Tommy Tuberville yesterday, you know what he said? He said that Fauci, he lied through his teeth. Fauci lied. Actually, he did lie. But then yesterday he pled the fifth. I found out that he can plead the fifth because there are several pending lawsuits from attorneys general around the country from state level. And that's what we have to do. And Coach has said he is going to explore Alabama's ability to prosecute and place Fauci in prison if he's elected governor. Slow clap for Coach. There's no way we can let this weasel. He literally looks like a weasel too. There's no way we can let him just go free, unscathed. Is the other part of that story in the montage?
Which other part?
The Trump part?
Yes.
Stick around for that. All right. That's all I got for Yammer.
All right. You ready for a montage?
A montage.
Black for news.
It killed millions of people, and he lied through his teeth. He should be locked up before he leaves this building today and put in prison and then put on trial in front of the American people. We lost 20 to 30,000 people in Alabama alone.
The most powerful thing the president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that.
Fox News alert moments ago, Donald Trump just unleashed a new round of airstrikes against Iran. It sounds like part of a more intensive air campaign pitched to him by CENTCOM Commander Cooper. This is according to the Wall Street Journal.
President, on Todd Blanche, Senator John Cornyn of Texas has been hesitant to back a confirmation. Seems to be some sort of deal that he's talking about. What is your reaction to his hesitancy?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe John Cornyn's upset with me because I didn't endorse him. I don't know what it is, but.
Well, we were just sitting there with our signs that said, like, we love Sophie, like, thank you, Sophie, for speaking up. And so we were holding on, just watching the game, and this lady, older lady, comes up to us, and she comes up to us, and at first I think she's going to be nice, and then she asks, like, what are you guys doing? Something like that. And then it was like, Jesus loves everyone. That's what she told us. And I was like, oh, I know. Like, I'm religious. Like, I know. Like, I know. Nice. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I hope Jesus can forgive you for what sin you've done. And like something like that. And then she told us that we were effing insane.
Okay.
That lady was the Seattle Storm co-owner, by the way.
And she gone?
Yeah. She's being punished here. Let me pull up exactly what's happened to her.
How does a grown woman... This is why, I mean, what a Karen.
Yes.
You are bullying and verbally assaulting young girls. Like, punch up. Don't punch down. I can't stand it when people punch down.
It wasn't just the co-owner. I'm reading here from Fox News. Seattle Storm fans were actually also heckling a Sophie Cunningham fan saying, take the trash out. Security, take the trash out. And then it also says that the WNBA team's co-owner is also alleged to have berated the girls wearing XXXY athletics shirts and carrying handmade signs, thanking Cunningham for a recent statement in support of women's sports. Co-owner Celeste Keaton allegedly approached the girls, yelled at them, and called them effing insane. The Storm provided a statement to Fox News Digital apologizing for the co-owner's conduct. Quote, we apologize that this happened. Everyone who attends a Storm game deserves to feel welcome.
But she was put on leave?
I'm trying to find.
I think she was.
I'm trying to find it. Here it is. 2 hours ago, Seattle Storm minority owner Celeste Keaton has been fined by the WNBA and suspended for her team's next 5 home games following an incident Tuesday night.
You can't do that. And that's the problem with the left. It was a problem with the love everybody, tree hugging kids in high school. Yeah, okay, fine. Let me be me, love everybody. As long as you're not a popular cheerleader, football player, Christian who has money. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it just is disgusting. And then you're going after these girls. What happened to girl power? What happened to we stand up and defend women?
The WNBA is a cesspool. I saw that they were the only major sports league that did not honor America in the 250 during the July 4th weekend, or at least that was active and participating in their seasons during the 4th of July. They were the only sports league that did not.
I hope they go under.
They're just, it's an awful league, but it has such great potential with the Sophie Cunninghams and the Caitlin Clarks and the others. But it appears that the WNBA players and owners, they hate it is what is making their sport popular, and they're fighting it.
What do we get out of this? It seems like they are committed to their cause, to their own detriment.
I don't know if we get out of it, honestly. I think I eventually the fatigue, I guess, will grow so much. It's just hard because Adam Silver and the NBA are so liberal. So
yeah,
they're not going to really do it. And that's where the WNBA doesn't even make a profit on its own. They just survive because of the NBA and keeping it alive. So it's all going to come down to the NBA and what the NBA is willing to do.
Todd Blanche and his confirmation, what was that whole, was that just Trump being Trump, saying he's just bitter?
Well, so Tillis and Cornyn are slow walking and refusing to cooperate with moving forward with the official confirmation of Todd Blanche, and reports are because they're very upset that there's a push to cancel the August recess because they're not budging on the Save America Act. And I believe it was Cornyn that said, it appears the president thinks if he just puts his weight on us that we're going to change our mind on the Save America Act. That's not how it works. So I guess they just want to go home.
You know, I think what's frustrating is that this is Republicans pushing back against each other. But in theory, this is how the government is supposed to work. It just stinks because it's working against an issue that really needs to happen. But the founding fathers made it to where it was difficult, that there were gridlocks, that there were ways to stop things from happening. But we got to figure this out. And now everybody's emotions are involved, and Cornyn's bitter and being petty. And America will probably suffer for it. I don't think the Save America Act ever gets passed. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's unfortunate because it's so common sense. I mean, what was the stat CNN showed yesterday of 70-something% of even Democrats agree with it?
Yep.
So it's just the radical part of, but then there's no reason for Republicans, 95% of GOP voters aren't supportive of it. So there's no reason why any Republicans should be. I don't get it.
95%. So who are you working for? Cornyn, Tillis? I guess maybe there's an argument that your state or your constituents aren't for it, but if 95% of Republicans are for it and you are part of the Republican Party, it would seem to me that the majority of your constituents are for it. So if you aren't for it yourself, you must be bowing to special interest groups and probably getting paid off somehow, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Or you can only win because you're cheating. I don't know if there's like hypothesis C in there. It just doesn't make any sense. Fauci, prison. Tommy Tuberville thinks he needs to go to prison. I probably think I mean, at this point, he is a mass murderer. And we know now from the diaries that he knew it. He's out having dinner with Jake Tapper and his wife right after he told us to reconsider and to not celebrate Thanksgiving. Literally the day before he has dinner with Jake Tapper and his wife, he came out and told the American people not to celebrate Thanksgiving with their families. This guy is a murderer. He is a liar. And he has been since the AIDS epidemic, which he helped create and made millions off of, just like he did the COVID pandemic. And the more I hear and listen to him, he really is the little guy with the big truck. I don't know if he was bullied in school. I don't know what his insecurity comes from, but you can't play with people's lives. You shouldn't. And if you do, you should have severe consequences. And that's what I don't understand about this administration. It's like people don't change unless there are consequences. Bottom line, I don't care if you're 3 or 30 or 90. And so as Trump says, well, I'm going to honor the pardon. I don't know what the other options are. Can you renege on a pardon? I don't know what that is about, but at least couch that statement in something that condemns what he did. What it makes me go is, were you part of this? Did you know more than you're telling us? Kind of like we're all doing with the Epstein files, because he won't put out the Epstein files. And it seems like he's protecting his friend. So is that what's happening here?
I think there's two parts of it. I mean, he was a part of Operation Warp Speed, and Fauci was his guy during his administration. So I think there is the obvious part about admitting that Trump made a mistake because it was under his direction. But then also, I may get heat for saying this, but I think Trump may plan to do a Biden-like pardon thing with him and his family after he leaves office, and he doesn't want to. If he makes
the precedent,
if he sets the precedent with Fauci, then that could. Now, I'm not saying that Trump and his family have done anything, but I think he's going to plan on he's planning on doing something like that with him and his family after he leaves. So he just doesn't want to touch it. He also said later in the clip that you have to have a lot of evidence that Trump or Biden actually used an auto pen with the Fauci pardon, and he pretty much said without saying he doesn't have evidence that Biden fraudulently pardoned Fauci. So
he doesn't have evidence that he used the auto pen.
He said without saying that he doesn't have enough evidence to show that Biden actually used the auto pen to pardon Fauci.
And that's the only way you can remove the protection of a pardon.
Yeah. You'd have to prove that it was fraudulently, that Biden did not on his own, accord, make the pardon.
So I think what we have to do on a state level is figure out what we can do to hold this madman accountable. And I don't know, our listeners are way smarter than me. And I'm sure we have listeners that have thought about this. What can you either civilly or criminally on a state level sue him, try him for? I don't know if it's a felony to lie to the American people. Is it?
It's a felony to lie under oath.
But as he knows that nothing about the coronavirus that he told us, it seems, was actually the reality. Whether it was where it came from, how it was spread, treatments available. Is that a crime?
Well, if you remember the RFK clip yesterday, what is a crime is mandating a vaccine where you know that there's an actual already proven
Okay. So we could go that
solution,
route.
like ivermectin. So there is a federal law in the books about mandating a vaccine, a new vaccine, when there's already a proven treatment available that you're just neglecting to.
Now, if that's a federal law and he's protected under a federal pardon, can the state still use that?
I don't think so.
We just have to think outside the box. And I hope that's what Tommy Tuberville is doing right now.
Right.
And Steve Marshall and Catherine Robertson. We've got to think outside the box. Maybe there's something you can do from a civil standpoint of a class action lawsuit. Something. We cannot let him go free.
I kind of did a circle on this because I was getting frustrated with all of the sound bites and all of the rah-rah from the senators who were berating him. And I was like, this is just usual Republican loudmouth, loud words, do nothing. And I was really frustrated. It's like, you can get your sound bites and you can say all the stuff in the, in the briefing room or wherever. But if you don't actually do something, then what's the point? But then federal pardon, what can you do? It's kind of, if Trump doesn't, refute the pardon itself, what can you do?
Well, you try and catch him, which they tried to trip him up yesterday. And I think that's one thing you do. And then what yesterday did and what the diaries coming out did was fire us all up again. I had never thought about it from a state level. I had never thought about the civil avenues that we might have to sue him. But this whole bringing it back up and reminding us what we went through because somebody is power hungry and is a depopulationist, I think it's got people talking again. So maybe that was kind of their plan, was we need to bring this back up. We need the American people and the states to help us along. And it showed his true colors yesterday. His true colors as he sat there and was so arrogant and unremorseful and defiant. And then his lawyer got kicked out. It was a whole thing.
I don't think we ever even played that clip.
I would love to see it. But
here, we got about 3 minutes left. We can finish the segment doing that if you want to.
Of course, my computer just died. I can pull it up on my phone.
Here, let me
Let's see if I can find us on the X.
Here, I'll pull it up on the stream, and then you can listen into it, Allison, if you want.
I'm gonna watch us. There we are.
Table, and we told you would not be recognized. You are not invited here for testimony, sir. You are being disruptive. Would you behave this way in a courtroom? No, because the judge would put you in jail. I can't do that today, but I can have you escorted from the premises. So I would say, sir, sit quietly and don't say another word. I said, sit quietly. You are not recognized. Another word and you're gone.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear what the attorney has to say.
He is not recognized by the committee or the chair. If he speaks again, he will be removed from the room. This testimony is from Anthony Fauci. This is not a game with his lawyers. He can advise, his lawyers can give him advice. He's got a half dozen here. They're all allowed to talk to him.
Yes.
All right? But the attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings. And so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered, for a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir. Security, please remove him from the room.
If you open your mouth again, you will be removed from the room. But
get him out. Wait.
So
Afuera!
That's good.
But he went on Benny Johnson the day, or I guess it was this morning, and said part of the Fifth Amendment is you don't get to testify. So you can't have your lawyer testify for you. You gave up your right to testify when you plead the Fifth. So you're not going to play a game of, I'm going to plead the Fifth, but my lawyer's going to talk for me. No, you're not. We're not doing that.
Yep.
So
that's good. Rand Paul, did you see Donald Trump's tweet supporting Rand Paul? Of course, he had to take out Thomas Massey on the way and said, as the Massey massacre continues, Rand Paul has he's back in the fold.
Nice change of pace. Yeah.
He gave him some props. Okay. When we come back, Ryland Hollyhan will be, I don't know which side he's going to sit on. I guess I'll scoot back over to my side. And we will spend some time talking about him, his new book, what he's doing with the Alabama Republican Party, maybe the Al Gop dinner. We'll cover a lot. We'll be right back.
Could you tell people what you mean by that definition? And then how pressing of a matter do you believe that it is?
I think it's a really pressing matter. We're still in front of the issue here in America, but the tipping point is actually closer than people think. And we've got to take it very seriously. When I talk about Islamism, I'm actually reading mostly out of this book, which is called Milestones. It is by a guy named Saeed Qutb. That's apparently very hard to say because Arabic is a weird language. But anyway, this dude basically was he grew up a Muslim in Egypt, and then he comes to America. But at the time while he's growing up, he studies what he calls the European philosophers. That means Marxism. He became an outright Leninist. He came to Greeley, Colorado, which is outside of Fort Collins, lived there for a year, decided that the West is this horribly decadent, evil, corrupt, not holy place. After 1 year, went back to Egypt and became effectively the voice for a faltering Muslim Brotherhood. So the Muslim Brotherhood was this kind of radical organization. They are what are known in the lingo as Salafists. As a matter of fact, they are jihadist Salafist. It's a very specific subdivision of Islamic thought. They are responsible for something like 75% of the terrorism in the world, and the Shia in Iran are responsible for like 90% of what's left in that other quarter. And so they would never claim it because this guy's a Sunni and the Iranians are Shia, that they've basically taken his ideas. But these Leninist ideas of how to do a Bolshevik style revolution getting applied to Islam is basically the model. And so in this book, he's actually really clear. And I think this is what you were referring to in the bullet. He's very clear that there's two things happening within Islam all the time as a religious practice. One of them is, he calls it preaching. That would be what Christians refer to as, church and the Great Commission. It's spreading the gospel. And then there's the movement to install Islam, which is the correct methods, in his view, for making other people Muslims. And he says preaching won't do it. So what I'm using that as the stand-in for is Islamism. The movement is Islamism. The preaching is the religion, is the Islam. And what he says is they're not separable. You cannot have one without the other. But for Salafists, their vision, what Salafism means is that only the first generation of Muslims were ever really Muslim. Everybody else got corrupted after that. So, you look at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, they're not Muslims. They don't meet the standard. Only Muhammad and his contemporaries, and maybe the generation after that, ever did it right. And so you have to go back to this radical fundamentalist view. There are 9 apparently sects of Salafism. Not all of them are jihadis, but the jihadist ones believe that you have to go spread Islam by conquest, including economic, social, political, but also direct kinetic warfare, and conquer lands, conquer peoples, conquer political places. The Muslim Brotherhood took up his philosophy in the 1960s. He was put to death by the Nasser regime in Egypt in 1966. In 1967, rather famously in American discourse now, Egypt lost the 6 Days War with Israel. They were humiliated, they were defeated, and Saudi Arabia, not wanting any pan-Arabism, forced Nasser to release the Muslim Brotherhood people from prison. Now, Qutb was already dead, but a lot of the radicals that took up his work were not. He is considered the first or second most important thinker in Muslim Brotherhood philosophy. He is probably therefore the first or second most important thinker in what's happening with Islam in the United States, much more radically here than in a lot of parts of the Islamic world in the Middle East. They tend to be worse when they are not around a bunch of other Muslims. They tend to be worse when they're in foreign territory or on borders, because those are the things you're trying to conquer. And this is a very radical proposition. So the movement includes forcing people to become Muslim or eventually killing them. He says in the book, the longest chapter in this book is about jihad. It's like 40 pages long. All the rest are like 10 or 12 pages long. And this chapter about jihad, he's extremely clear that there are three types of people. There are the people who have submitted. They're called Muslims. There are the people who are willing to live as subjects. They're called dhimmis. And there are the people who are against Islam, and they are to be killed. And that's how that works. The end. That's it. And so you either become a Muslim and submit. Muslim means person who has submitted. Islam means submission. It means having accepted Sharia and living by Sharia. It means nothing else. He says that explicitly. It means nothing else other than living by Sharia. That's what you have submitted to. And then,
y'all, welcome back to the right side. I think I kicked there we go. It's a whole thing. And then when Abs isn't here, she's like mom and she keeps us together. So I apologize.
It's okay.
But we are back with Brylan Hollyhan. You know his name. I know you do. He has been around, at least in the state of Alabama, for a long, long time. Now he has a fancy publicist in New York City and a friend that travels with him that dresses fancy in a suit too. And he has a new book. So we're going to talk about kind of how you got started, because we probably have a lot of listeners that may not know that you've been doing this a lot longer than it seems. We're going to talk about Make America Talk Again. I want to talk about what you're doing with ALGOP and the Republican Party. We can talk about what you have on the horizon. Sounds like some fun things. So tell everybody first. I was trying to think of how I would describe you and what you do. How do you describe yourself and what do you do?
So I'm 20 years old. I'm just a boy from Tuscaloosa who had a podcast in the 4th grade. This is my decade anniversary in politics, which is a little crazy to be 20 and be celebrating a decade in this team of Business of Vipers. It's a little crazy. But
yeah, that is crazy.
It turned into a podcast that started the first book, I guess 2.5 years ago now. That book caught the attention of President Trump. Got to go work on his campaign and read the youth operation. He's in the Oval Office now. So we had a lot of fun stories from that to fit into a second book. And in the process of this, I got to go around and debate on 10 campuses last year. So we do a little bit of it all. If I'm not sitting in class, I might be on your show or I might be debating somewhere. So it's just fun.
You made a very, very good decision. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I left Tuscaloosa and went to Auburn.
Yeah, you did.
You see, there's people in Tuscaloosa that say the opposite, though, and they're still upset with me. And it's okay. They're going to get over it because Auburn's great. And I will be saying we're able till I die. And I will still go home and I'll visit my parents in Tuscaloosa. And that's okay. But I will be bleeding orange and orange and
red.
blue.
Actually, that's probably the right
I have
answer.
these bibs now that I wear to the student section, and I put a little hat and sunglasses on. I can typically blend in pretty well, and nobody thinks I'd be wearing bibs. They think I have like a suit or something on.
Wait, what's a bib?
It's like the little overalls.
Yeah.
But they have like Auburn logos on it, and it's what everybody wears in the student section, and nobody would expect me to wear them. So I can.
You don't go in a sport coat and a tie?
No, I don't like sport coats.
What do you miss Tuscaloosa at all, or you are just?
I miss my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did leave out a few parts. Did you start a newspaper?
I did. I started a news service.
What's the difference in a newspaper?
It was I didn't have anything to print it on, so it was a blog online with a podcast.
Oh, back in the blogging
days. So here was the problem. I wanted to get involved, but there was no way for a 4th grader to run for office. And so I had limited options. And you also can't start a Twitter account until you're 13. And I was 11 at the time. So very limited
Aren't there
options.
things you can type in to get around that?
Probably, but I didn't want to get arrested.
He follows
and
the rules.
I was in 4th grade and I thought that I would get, put in detention or something. So I was like, we're going to do this the right way. So I started a blog that turned into a podcast. And when we came around time for the podcast, as you know, getting guests is kind of an integral part of it, having a show.
Yes.
But nobody would come on the show. And I mean, I reached out to the mayor. I reached out to the city council in Tuscaloosa. Nobody would respond.
Your local people wouldn't even come on the show?
Because why would you give time to a 4th grader? Nobody would do it.
Well, because that's precious.
Well, I didn't have any notoriety or credibility. So this is the fun story. It was around time that school's about to get out for summer. And I skipped one of my exams to go interview Charlie Kirk, who was coming to speak at the ALGOP dinner that year and debate on Bama's campus. And that was my first ever interview.
That was the ALGOP dinner, and people have forgotten this when Charlie and Candace
came together. Yes, because Candace was Charlie's comms director. They still worked together at that point.
We've come so
the
far.
tables have turned.
How did you get Charlie on to your podcast? Were you like the cute little kid that just sent an email, or did we have email back then? Yeah, we did. Okay. Yeah, we had email, and you're like,
It's 10 years ago.
I mean, I don't know. I go back to college
Not
where we
that
had the
old.
green like DOS screen, and to print something, it rolled out on. Have you ever seen the printing paper that has the holes in the side that
yes.
runs up? You have?
Oh yeah. I'm an old soul.
Okay.
I watch black and white TV and listen to Merle Haggard. So my walkout song tomorrow night at the Algop dinner is "Fight Inside of Me" by Merle Haggard. So I antique shop in my free time if I'm not fishing or golfing, and you will not find me in a tie if I don't have to wear one.
Okay, here's the thing. You've gotten some hate for that. You know, people are like,
People don't like me?
No,
What?
well,
That's the
okay.
first I'm hearing of
I don't know
this.
if you want to talk about that, but
I would love to.
They came after you, and I'm like, this has been Brylan since as long as I've known you, which I can't. I think I met you and maybe Caroline Joyous at the presidential debate.
Yes, in Tuscaloosa.
In
Community Music Center.
Tuscaloosa. But I think it was before that. But to me, you've always been this Brylan. I think you just got a ton of attention after Charlie Kirk's death. You started the Turning Point tour, and everybody seemed to come after you. But I'm like, this is Merle Haggard antique shopper.
So you've seen me since I've had a little bit more baby fat. And some of these people came along at the very end of this process where we are right now and said, oh, well, he just came out of nowhere. They didn't see me in 4th grade. They didn't see me DMing Charlie Kirk to try to get an interview, thinking he's never going to respond. And we did that. They didn't see the 10-year
so
friendship.
you
I
DM'd
DM'd
him
him. Yes.
on Instagram?
On Instagram.
That's how you
DM. Before I had an email. So, and we just started that friendship that lasted, up till a decade. They don't see that side of things. They didn't see me waking up early before my 8 a.m. 4th grade class to get work done, coming home before homework, filming and editing podcasts. They didn't see that side of things. They just saw what they could attack. And here's what I took from it. People very easily, in an online culture we live in with cyberbullying reigning free, could have said, oh, I hang up my hat, I quit. Somebody said something mean to me from their parents' basement online. I'm going to go curl up in a ball and cry. And that would what happened if my identity was in social media and politics and my ego. And it's not. My identity is in Jesus. And at the end of the day, I know what my relationship with him is. And so I walked into a green room at Fox last week in New York, and somebody passed me and they're like, you're still doing politics? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, I thought you would have quit. Like, I thought the heat was so hard that there's no way you would stop. And there was a moment the week after Charlie's funeral. I'm going back to class for the first time. And I've brand new to the concept of death threats and security in this whole world. And so I'm walking from my dorm to my lecture hall with an armored formation of security, men with guns, and the rolling vehicles following us just so I can get into this class at Auburn. And I'm like, this is really odd. Like, I don't really think I like this very much. And we sit down in class, and the guy next to me gets up and moves and turns to me and goes, I don't want people to think we're friends. And gets up, moves down a few seats, classmate. And in English, of course, it was an English lecture hall. So you better believe that day at lunch, when I got to the Edge, which is our dining hall in Auburn, and I saw that same guy, I sat down right next to him. And we started a friendship because I proved to him that you can still be friends with people past politics. We talked about Auburn basketball statistics. Bruce had just retired and Steven was coming in. We talked about baseball predictions for that year. I proved to that guy that, like, hey, I'm a lot more than what you see on Twitter online. And that's what I've tried to do this whole time.
I think that, and that probably brings us to your book, Make America Talk Again. But I love, you've learned something at a very young age that it took me a long time to get to. And I wish more politicians, celebrities, you go, you know what, if all this ends tomorrow, I'm okay.
Yes.
I have a good life. I have a great family. I have friends. My identity is not in this. And it allows you, I mean, I haven't had to have armored cars. I have had to have security. That was when like the LGBTQ mafia was coming after us. But you go, I'm okay. And it gives you the freedom to keep going.
Exactly.
And to come out with a killer book that is probably more important now than ever. So talk to us about Make America Talk Again, how to save humanity from a screaming culture. You've gotten a firsthand look at this. Take us through how you wrote this and kind of the different chapters, what you talk about.
Absolutely. So my favorite thing from the last week was just to prove to the people that thought that they silenced me and canceled me last year that we have a best-selling book on the Amazon top 10 list. And those people thought that they were going to shut me up just by making fun of my face or my hair or whatever they thought they were. And look where we are. And we didn't stop and we didn't shut up. I think the point of this is that we shouldn't have to have security for speaking our mind. We shouldn't have to look over our shoulder walking into class or worried about who's going to move away from us, because we live in the free United States of America that's lasted 250 years on the concept of civil discourse, that was founded on the concept of civil discourse. Literally, the Continental Congress, the entire premise of it was for our founders to come together who did not agree on a lot of individual policies, but agreed on the idea of freedom to come out of that with a constitution. And so this concept today that we shouldn't talk politics or debate politics is insane, Allison. And I think a lot of people in our generation growing up, I'm just turned 20, would say, oh, well, we were raised to believe that you can't talk about politics or faith. You can't talk about politics or faith at the dinner table or out in public, or certainly not in the classroom. Therefore, we don't know how to practice the art of civil discourse. It's a novel concept. We see online people scream at each other from the extreme of both sides. We see on TV people get assassinated for speaking out. So why would somebody ever speak out? The point of this is so that I'm not the only person debating. It gets lonely out there, having a long line of people, and I'm the only one with truth. I want more people on this campus. And so it's 10 chapters. You're looking at the table of contents. It's 10 debates that I did, what I took away from it, because I want people to understand that regardless of the booing, regardless of the threats, regardless of whatever they make fun of you on, at the end of the day, if your identity is in Jesus, your job is to share the truth. And that's what I try to do every day.
I love chapter 9, becoming the kind of person people can talk to. I think it's funny. We moved into a new neighborhood about 2 years ago, and our neighbors are lesbians, and they are extremely, extremely far left. They are the greatest people. And they know exactly where I stand, where we stand. We follow each other on Facebook, and we're able to have some really good, really difficult conversations. Awesome. But there's a mutual respect for just, if we were all the same, life would be really boring. And I'm not going to compromise on what I believe to make you feel better. They don't do that either. But we can still be friends and connect, kind of like you did with the guy at the edge. Y'all might be best friends now, but what has the response been? Do you have people on the left that have come to you and said, I want to talk, or let's sit down, or you're not who I thought you were?
Definitely. It was funny. So the New York Times, so friendly, came to do a hit piece on us at my Clemson stop of the tour last year. And they sent a team of journalists to do a sit down, like 2-hour-long interview with me, where they're pulling up, like they had talked to high school girlfriends of mine, and they had talked to kindergarten teachers of mine, and they're pulling all this stuff. And it was like, they couldn't find anything. And I'm sitting across from them, and I was like, hey, like after we're done with the interview, y'all should come to my speech and you should hear me debate. You've flown all this way. Like, don't just write an article about this 2-hour, expose, actually come and see me in action. And some of them left and some of them stayed. And the ones that stayed, it was really funny. At the end of the article, they were like, yeah, we talked to some of the people online that came and, were threatening Brylan outside. And he came out and high-fived them and asked them their names and asked them how their night was going and if he could offer them water. And it was really cool to just see, like, they thought that it was going to be this evil, like, I'm screaming at them and raising my finger. And I came out and was like, hey, guys, it's hot out here. Like, you need some water. Do you want to come inside an AC? You can cool off and stay in the back of the room. They weren't expecting that. My favorite story from this book is not conversations with the president. It's not Fox News backstage stories. It's one that people might not expect. Harry Sisson and I have been pitted against each other online. Okay?
Lord, okay.
And then Harry and I can't agree on anything publicly. All right. And Harry and I, the media has like made this really fun caricature of let's put each other at debates, and we debate very often. We're debating again next week. And it makes a lot of money for the TV networks. And him and I have a great time sparring on cable, and it's fun. Okay. But what people don't know is that outside of the cameras, we're both just normal people in a business full of vipers around the same age. And so there was a really fun conversation that I like put the screenshots, the text here in the book. It was election day. And I was just leaving an event with the president in Georgia.
2020?
In 24.
24.
And I walked past the TV screen, and Harry's on CNN. And the comment he made that I heard, he was like, getting excited to celebrate Madam President tonight. And I fire off a text, kind of like a little jab at him. And I was like, it's going to be Mr. President to you. And I'm looking forward to, whenever the results come in this evening. And what I said, and we put it in the book, with his permission, was like, hey, man, regardless of what happens, like, it's really cool that we're going to have more young people vote than ever before in an election. And he responded with something like, hey, like, regardless of what happens, like, regardless of who wins, like, a friendship came out of this. And that's awesome. Harry and I have debated, I don't know how many times. We have yet to find a single thing we can agree on politically. But him and I can both talk sports as we're sitting in the green room getting mic'd up. Him and I can both talk the fact that how we can get more young people to just vote in general. And that kind of stuff, I think people don't understand of, it must just be you're at each other's throats all the time. We're human beings that are both Americans that at the end of the day don't have to assassinate or scream or rant. We can just talk. I know that's a crazy concept, Allison.
No, it's the way it should be. And I commend you for that, because that's what it's, as the left gets more extreme, the right gets more extreme. I mean, extremism breeds extremism. And
Yes.
we're in this place where we're going to lose our country because of this.
Correct.
Having said that, I'm really excited that you're involved with the Republican Party
Yes.
because we have to beat them, which you would tell Harry that as well.
Correct.
Like we are coming for you because you
Correct.
all are insane.
Yes.
What are you doing with the Republican Party? You're starting something called Project Next
Future Generation.
Future
Yes, ma'am.
Generation. Tell us about that.
So I'm excited. It launches tomorrow night. We're going to announce on the main stage at the dinner, and we'll give you a little exclusive on what some stuff's going on. So tomorrow we're going to have the very first ever student summit at lunch. So we're bringing over 50 student leaders from all the campuses in the state of Alabama together to have lunch with Chairman Stadhagen and I. And it's not like a lecture. It's not like a session where they're going to listen to us talk. It's a Q&A. Where we're going to go back and forth on how can we help your campus with the funding the state party has, how can we help you organize with the staff the state party has, and then what specific needs can those clubs work together? Because you've been to some of these campuses, there's a CR chapter, there's a WIRE chapter, there's a YAF chapter, there's a Turning Point chapter. We all have the same mission, we all have the same goal, we're working separately. We have pizza parties on the same nights, we have voter registration drive on the same nights, but they're rooms apart from each other. Why can't we just all work together before the midterms? Because we're losing places like Huntsville that's turning purple. We could flip seats like Terry Sewell's seat if we all work together. So that's the first step. And we're actually doing that tomorrow at lunch. And we'll be able to, give some exclusive of that tomorrow evening in the speech. We're also going to be launching some campus-wide speaking tours where the chairman's actually going to go around himself and, be on the campuses, whether they're high school students that need to get registered or
great.
college students to get them registered. It's one thing to go and have, a big Republican celebration in Montgomery. We need that every few months. But what are we going to do in the meantime? We need to go physically register these students, not lecture them, physically go register them. And then finally, it's going to be really cool to see kind of this mirror of what's been the mighty Alabama strike force that is doing great.
Yeah.
We're going to have a student strike force, because think of how many students have free weekends in the spring and they're not at football games tailgating. They can go to Huntsville, they can register voters, they can make an effort to go to Terry Sewell's district, and they can register people. I have a good idea every now and then. It takes a little
That's
while.
a really, really good idea, because we just played some clips this morning. I don't know if the Babylon Bee, and it might be kind of old, but they put out it was a progressive, crazy, feminist, liberal talking to Hitler. And they were debating their positions, and the progressive socialist, democratic socialist female ends up going, oh, wait, we're just like you.
Exactly.
That is what we are fighting. And these, I mean, I have kids your age. It's so prevalent. And part of it is, I don't think they think they can be part of this crowd. They see it still as kind of the 1980s, 1990s Republicans of the suit and tie and the George Bushes, and they don't fit.
Yeah.
And that to me is a problem. So I love what you are doing.
Well, just yesterday, I met with some of our more senior members of the Republican Party with their silver hair, and they're so kind.
We need those too.
And we absolutely need them. And they've built a party that we're so awesome to celebrate with the supermajority today. Like, we're very appreciative of it. But as I sat down with them, they were a little resistant to some of these ideas. And the analogy I painted for them was, listen to this, okay? In your head, picture a good old Southern church, okay? A good old Southern church that doesn't put an emphasis on a youth ministry because they don't want change. So when the older congregation of that church passes away, guess what? The church passes with it. But look around, what churches are thriving? The one that have the large student ministries and college ministries that welcome the next generation. So when that older congregation inevitably passes, they have somebody to pass the baton to. That good old Southern church is our grand old party. And we've been stuck in our ways of saying, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. We can't just put an ad in the back of the Sunday paper, Allison, and expect to win young people. We got to be on TikTok, as resistant as it might be. And tomorrow night, we'll be at the Renaissance in Montgomery for the state party dinner. The last time I was in that room was 2023. And I had a pull aside with President Trump backstage, one of the first times him and I had ever talked.
That was a great event.
It was a great, great event. And he looked at me and he said, what can I do to win the youth? I'm afraid we're going to lose them. And I just, off the top of my head, the first thing I could think of was TikTok. You got to go where we are. And he kind of laughed at it. And I thought that's the last time he'd ever bring it up. A week later, I'm sitting in a math class. My phone rings with an unknown Florida number. I get a demerit, as you do when your phone rings in class. It happened to be the president's team. And they were calling to offer me a job to lead their youth outreach to start a TikTok campaign. Here we sit for tomorrow night's dinner. He has the largest account on TikTok. So ideas from young people that would have typically been shunned because you got to keep the pews, you got to keep the orchestra, you got to keep that kind of thing in a church. You would have shunned TikTok in a party, and he's back in the Oval Office this morning because of it.
That's actually a great analogy. I appreciate you being here
Of course.
today. I know you've got a crazy next few days. Y'all go pick up his book. Where can they buy it?
Brylandbook.com.
Brylandbook.com.
Yes, ma'am. We make it as easy as possible.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow night too.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
Be
This is so fun. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller here. I watch the show all the time, so I'm kind of fanning out.
Hey,
This
is
is pretty
that
cool.
really true?
Yes, I literally do.
Clip that one.
You had Bill Bubba Bussy on yesterday. I
Oh.
watched it. I know for sure. Yeah, I do watch.
Okay, he does
Wow.
watch. Well, he didn't mention the bear though. So maybe.
Oh.
I saw the picture of the bear. Was it in the backyard?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. I was a little scared pulling up. I'll tell you. I looked around. So there's no security. There's no armed men, and I'm not in an armored
No.
vehicle. So
There's no animal control either. But hey, thank you again.
I appreciate
It's
it.
awesome. We'll be right back after this.
Dhimmis, who are effectively slaves, and then there are dead people in his trichotomy. And this is the primary philosophy informing, again, the Muslim Brotherhood today. Of course, we now see some of the U.S. rightly designating it as a terrorist organization and starting barely to treat it as such, but we are really far behind. This is a very serious issue. America is in a lot of danger with this. And in some states are worse than others. Texas and Florida are particularly big hotspots, although there are others. I strongly encourage people to go look up the RAIR Foundation. That's RAIR. That is it's an acronym. To go look that up. They are doing some of the best work at exposing this ideology as it creeps into America. So you'll have to Google it. I don't know what their website is. RAIR Foundation. But this is deep. I mean, you have, for example, the Council for American Islamic Relations, that's CAIR, is one of the biggest lobbying entities in Washington, D.C. and in many of our states. We have boatloads of unaccountable money coming in from various Arab states, including Qatar, as people usually pronounce it here, flowing in. Nobody knows what that money's for. If you start looking at it too hard, it disappears all of a sudden. You look at their FARA reports and they have, what are you going to do with this money? And it'll just be a blank. They don't answer. And we're talking sometimes, millions of dollars that will be something like to text message, say, Speaker Johnson in Congress. And they'll send 2 text messages for like $1 million. So they're doing something else with the money. This is all very organized. They are setting up mosques as like small miniature cities to establish Sharia zones within the United States. And once they consider a zone submitted to Sharia, it's Islamic land forever in their mind. When people come to that now, like let's say you got some radicals from Syria or Jordan to immigrate in, and they go to one of these Sharia only compounds in Texas or whatever, when they're met, the imams will say, welcome home, because they're now on Islamic land in their mind. And once land is Islamic in the Islamic theology, it is always Islamic. It can never not be Islamic. Again, and anybody else who is on it or uses it or has control of it is stealing their land and is subject to being murdered for stealing their land. It's a big problem.
Okay. I kind of want to skip over the 3 of us, and probably most people watch it. Well, I won't take that for granted and assume that, but most people see that this is actually an issue. You look at New York City, like you said, Texas, Epic City, whatever they're doing.
That's right.
Here in Shelby County, which is considered the reddest of the red counties in Alabama, we just had a Islamic academy try to move in literally 2 miles from our home. Luckily, we fought it. They're not coming here, but there's this creep, and it's happening, and it's here. That doesn't even include Minnesota and everything that's going on. However, we have had conversations with elected officials, Attorney General here, senators, U.S. senators, state level senators or representatives. They go, well, there's just really, I mean, what do you suggest we do? There's not a lot. I mean, they're protected under the First Amendment. They're a religion. I guess we got to go after, maybe keep things out through ordinances, noise ordinances, whatever it is. I want to skip to that part because I, number one, do not think that Islam should have the designation of a religion. If you can't leave and not be killed, if you don't have the free choice in the end to choose whether you want to be a part or not, you're a cult. You're a death cult. and your motives are not for the betterment of the person, it's for your evil agenda. That's one way. I think you commented that won't hold up in court. But what are your views on de-designating them as a religion? And then how do we actually fight this within the system? Or are we just going to have to change laws going forward?
I'm reading their theory, so I don't want to bill myself as a bigger expert on kind of the politics of this than I am, because I'm not. But I do know some people are working on it. And again, I encourage people to check out the Rare Foundation and what they're doing, not just in terms of exposing what's going on. But okay, that said, there are things we can do. You probably will not win in court to de-designate Islam as a religion. But if you have books like Milestones that are making very clear that there's preaching, which is usually what we would classify as religious behavior, and then you have a movement to install Islam, then you have something separable. In other words, in every religion, you actually do have the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution steps in and says, look, I don't care what your practice of religion is. If you have some, baby sacrificing religion, you're not allowed to do it. You're actually not allowed to practice that. If your religion requires, drinking the blood of somebody that you kidnapped, you're just not allowed to do things. There are certain things you're not allowed to do. And we're going to have to get some teeth about this. The problem, if you want to get down to brass tacks about it, is this thing has oodles of money behind it, and a lot of your officials that you talk to have received a fair amount of that money. There are places where people have just been bought off by life-changing money that's flowing in from the oil sand, or the oil under the sands of the Middle East, to make sure that this doesn't get hindered. There's kind of other practical problems, but there are things that can be done. For example, in this book, Milestones, he's very clear that part of what Sharia means is respecting absolutely no other law whatsoever. It has no authority. They are not allowed, religiously not allowed, to respect any other law.
Y'all, welcome back. That was Brylan Hollyhan. You just want to say his name like that. He's so Southern. His mom and dad walked him through the 7 ways to talk to people and talk to adults. I'm pretty sure. Very impressive. And he's doing a lot. And for the haters, he's always been that way. It's not, that's just him. He's always been an old soul. Pretty crazy to see all he's doing. Go get his book. And if you want to, you can come tomorrow night to the Algop dinner in Montgomery. I bet you can still buy tickets. It will be a blast. JP, would you like to do the Muslim Minute?
We can. We got a doozy of a Muslim Minute today. So.
My computer died.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, I can watch it on my phone. I keep forgetting.
I got my laptop.
Yeah, but no, I'll just watch it on my phone because I think I know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And oh, there I am. Okay, hold on. Yep. Okay, that's me. Is the camera crooked?
No, you know what it is?
Am I crooked?
No, I'll explain in the break. It's not crooked though.
Is the building falling?
No.
Okay.
We did the neon sign crooked. That's what it is.
Yeah, but I've never noticed it crooked.
It is. We need to fix it.
Can you fix the camera?
The camera isn't straight.
I know, but if you lean the camera, then it won't make it look crooked.
Is that?
I feel like I'm tipping over.
Yeah. Here,
it's got to go that way.
Yeah, but would you rather be crooked or the sign be crooked?
I don't want. So I need to rehang that sign. I'm sorry, y'all. I've never looked at this. Hey, actually, that. Okay. This is why when Abs is here, we don't do this kind of stuff. Okay. Hey, that's better.
There you go.
Okay. Muslim Minute.
Okay.
Let's do it.
It's time for the Muslim Minute with Charlie. And there's no sound to start this video, so I'll explain as the flag falls behind Allison. These are Moroccan illegal immigrants flooding Spain. So here's a video.
Muslims are invaders, and they always have been, and they always will be. That is exactly what they are called to do. They follow 3 books, and the 3 books say you can take anything the infidels have for Allah, and that includes your country. And that is what is happening in America. That is physically what just happened in Spain. That is horrendous to watch. What do? They said 3,000, not women, 3,000 Muslim men just landed on the coast of Spain and ran. What do we do? They are emboldened and they are continuing to march forward. And I guarantee you, Spain can and will do nothing about this. Just like America really isn't doing anything about this. You look at the deportations that are taking place, it's from the South American countries. This is awful. JP, tell me if I'm crazy. I would take the MS-13 gang members over the Muslim takeover crowd. That, at least their intentions are clear and everybody knows to fear them and you know how to fight back against that. The Muslims are so deceptive. They lie, they steal, they are narcissists, they will enslave, they will rape, and they will do it with a smile. And it is more dangerous and more sinister than we can ever imagine. And they literally just landed on the coast of Spain and invaded that country. I don't even know. I mean, JP, do you have thoughts on?
Yeah, I don't know. There's not much else to add. If you listen to the sound of the video of them running through, it's like the walls have been blown to pieces and the enemy is invading. Like, is that sound of like invaders? I mean, that's just terrifying. But the goal is, they're not hiding their goal and they're not hiding what they want to accomplish with invading of the Western civilization and Western countries. I mean, can you imagine if there was a video of like a bunch of white people running into some Middle Eastern country like Saudi Arabia or anywhere like that? It'd be colonizers.
Let's go down that road. Before you get to even being able to call them a name, what would happen?
They'd be dead.
And yet we're the bigots, we're the racists, we're the xenophobes, we're the fascists, we're the dictators.
Yeah.
That is it'll be interesting to see how Spain responds. Why don't we all pull in Argentina and just say you're not welcome here?
Afuera!
If you invade, if you come here with ill intention, if you invade, you will get shot. I mean, how can you stand for that? And I guess, did they bring boats over from Morocco and they just sailed across and all landed at the same time? I don't know how you don't see that coming. So is the Spanish government just sitting there waiting?
I have no idea.
Was it like a giant cruise ship? Were they on dinghies? Did we see that part? Because they're running up on shore. They look like little ants. I mean, it does. It reminds me of D-Day, what we did in Normandy. That's what it looks like. It was an invasion. And that is an invasion.
Let's see. An emergency has now been declared in Ceuta, by the way, after tens of thousands of illegal migrants break in. But I guess this was over 1 million of illegal migrants were granted the right to remain in Spain, and I think that helped encourage this.
Excuse me, 1 million?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Spain, I guess you're going to get what you deserve.
Oh, they swam. In 48 hours, 5,000 Moroccans, they swam to Ceuta from Morocco.
How far is that? Please tell me. What do you mean they swam? And they have clothes on. You can't swim, you'll sink.
So Morocco is right across the bay from Spain.
I need a distance. Are we talking miles? Are they professional swimmers?
I'm seeing a time here. Let's try and find a distance. I don't know.
They swam.
They did swim. 8 to 9 miles.
You can't swim that far.
You can.
5,000 people can swim that far.
If you want to invade Western civilization enough.
Do you wear a bubble? And then ditch the bubble as you're getting out? 8 or 9 miles. I bet they lost a lot of people. Yeah. I can't swim to the buoy outside of our lake house and back without being winded. And that's not far. I know we were going to do the DSA. I don't know if we really have time to do it justice. And I want to get to this John Cohen story. I also kind of want to get to Ledbetter's story. Can you pull that one up?
Yes.
Or I can pull up either one because I think it would be good to talk through that. Auburn DEI mission statement, which has now been scrubbed. Libs of TikTok is reporting that has been taken down. I know Scott Buttram was following along on that. The word was that it was left over from 2013. It wasn't supposed to be there. I don't buy that, but whatever. It is coming out, no pun intended. Libs of TikTok is reporting that John Cohen, the athletic director for Auburn, has a trans daughter who pretends to be a male. Auburn University's mission statement for its athletic program pushed DEI policies. It all makes sense now. There is a Facebook post that shows John and his daughter. And it says, "Dearest friends, as you may have noticed, someone in our family has been undergoing a bit of a change lately." This is from March 22nd of 2019. As you can imagine, it's been quite a year. Our family's journey has been, in a word, profound, and we are all stronger and closer than ever. John, Jordan, and I are blessed and grateful that God gave us Avery. We are also blessed and grateful Avery had the courage to tell us, "This is who I really am." On one hand, I'm not a fan of, I think kids should be off limits. That information, I would have never put it out, but it's out there. But it does make sense. And the point I want to make about that is this is what we're seeing happening in our churches. As pastors, faith leaders confront, whether it's in their family or someone close to them, they get really uncomfortable with speaking truth. And they suddenly change their beliefs. They change now, John Cohen is not, I don't know if he's a believer or not, although they do speak to God. But when it becomes personal, most people will start rearranging their beliefs or the Bible to kind of fit what's the path of least resistance. And I think that's what we're seeing. I don't know of any of us that haven't been affected by, in the past years, whether it's homosexuality, pornography addiction, transgenderism, whatever it is, it has become so prevalent that I think we all probably have somebody close to us that is struggling with that. And it does get to where you're like, it'd be way easier if I just gave in, if I just said, maybe it's okay. Maybe love is love. Maybe a man can be a woman. If that is what you choose in your family, can't do anything. But what this is doing as the athletic director, you are imposing what is okay for your family onto everyone else, and honestly taking away opportunities from other people that probably deserve them because you want to feel better about yourself. Do you disagree with that?
I don't disagree with that, and I agree with you that I probably wouldn't have released that information, but now that it's out there, yeah. If you personally believe that, that's one thing, but especially, I think the main issue is you're violating state law, black and white, with if you implement these policies. Like, it's just flat out illegal. So you're not legally allowed to do that.
Yeah, and nobody. I'm curious because libs of TikTok tagged Steve Marshall. I haven't seen any response. I'm sure we won't. I don't know that we should, but I guess this just explains a lot of what is going on in communities and churches as well. And it's hard because he loves his daughter. As a parent, whether you're dealing with LGBTQ issues or you're dealing with addiction issues or you're dealing with just you make a decision that you don't agree with, your child makes a decision, does something you don't agree with, they're still your child.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what they do, say they are, you still love them. And my heart goes out to them. He's just trying to be a dad and love his child. But at some point, you have to separate yourself. If you have a job to do, you have to separate yourself from that empathy or compassion that you have, because how many athletes maybe haven't had opportunities because, and I don't know, or maybe it's just in the offices. How many white Christian males haven't been hired at Auburn that were way more qualified because you had to get the furry in there?
Yeah.
I don't know that happened.
Yeah, I agree. When whatever you do in your personal life, but if you're a university and you're receiving state funding, you have to abide by state laws.
They took it down, but does that mean they changed their policy?
I don't know. Maybe they just got oh crap and got caught with their pants down moment, but maybe they'll go back to the drawing board and come up with something better. I don't know, but
pull their pants back up.
Yeah, maybe pull their pants back up first, and then get back to yeah.
Oh, right here at the OBS.
I know.
War Eagle.
Hey, I mean, this is the same school that had
don't do it.
The drag queen teacher, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
A drag queen teacher that was grooming students at an Auburn middle school or high school.
Yep.
And then Auburn University hires them. Great.
Well, Alabama had in their law school the originators of CRT, so
that's true.
It's just all in our backyard. 6'7".
All right. Can you read me the Ledbetter? Because this is a little preview of what Speaker Ledbetter says is coming down the pipeline for next session in the state of Alabama. Curious what y'all think about it.
This is a Yellowhammer piece from Mecca Music. Ledbetter previews 2027 legislative priorities, snap fixes, gambling regulation, and prisons. Let's see if I find a quote here.
The prison debacle is a real thing.
So referring to Coach Tuberville, he says, I know he's probably got a lot on his agenda. We're working with him to try to figure out what he wants to do and how he wants to accomplish that. Among the issues Ledbetter expects lawmakers to address is Alabama's administration of SNAP benefits after the state was cited for one of the nation's highest payment error rates. Alabama could be required to repay nearly $200 million, holy cow, to the federal government because of the errors. Let's scroll down here. He also pointed to prisons and additional public safety legislation as likely discussion topics after lawmakers approved a wide-ranging crime package during the previous session. Gambling could also return to the legislative session after a House proposal narrowly failed in the Senate during the 2026 session. Ledbetter acknowledged the issue remains divisive, but argued Alabama's existing gambling landscape lacks meaningful oversight. We've got a problem, Ledbetter said. Every county in this state has got a gambling problem. Rather than allowing unregulated gambling to continue, Ledbetter said he believes lawmakers should revisit legislation that would establish regulation while reducing the number of gaming facilities. Quote, we've got a chance of regulating and cutting it down.
Reducing the number of gaming facilities? Is that illegal gaming facilities?
I don't know.
Or is that, yeah, I guess so, because we only have a few. I do want to get Representative Hammett on the show. Apparently, he has a bill that he wants to drop that would help. You know, we heard Blackshear come out and say that we need to regulate prediction what was that? It was really confusing. We need to regulate gambling, and the state needs to get involved in gambling so we can regulate it.
He pretty much talked about the Kalshi, the poly markets that are somehow legal because they're called predictive markets or whatever, and that those need to be regulated.
I think there's a lot of things that are going to come together. Hammett has a bill I'm hearing that would help with the Kalshi predictive issue, if you will, if you think it's an issue, without opening up to legalizing gambling and having casinos on every corner of every city, or at least 8 or 9 of them. It's just a few. And I think it would be worthwhile having him on to talk about that. But I'm guessing that's probably a really good preview of what they plan on doing. It's the start of a new quadrennium. We'll have a new governor either way, assuming it will be Tommy Tuberville. And generally, I feel like some of the more controversial things happen early in the quadrennium because then they kind of hope you forget about it by the time the election comes around the next 4 years. That's what they did with the gas tax. So buckle up. But some of those issues, I actually agree we need to handle. Our prisons are a disaster. The SNAP benefit, that is really embarrassing. $200 million.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. But I think it's good. We all need to be thinking about what we want to ask our legislators to do this session. And it's not out. I want people to understand that you can, gosh, we filled out Colin's. I'm always late getting her registered back for school. But we filled out Colin's registration. And it's a proud moment. Every year we have to do this where you have to check whether you want to opt in your child for mental health counseling and mental health surveys where they ask about their feelings. Y'all, that was me. That was me and 2 other people that wrote an amendment to go to the mental health coordinator bill that instead of your kids automatically being enrolled in government counseling, you have to say yes. And if you don't, they aren't. So don't think there's nothing you can do. If there is an issue that is important to you, call your legislator, talk to them, learn how to write a bill, work with them. They do want to hear from you. Even if they say they don't, they should. And I really have found that most legislators are open if you come to them with an idea, with a concern, and you keep your head on straight and don't act a fool. They really will sit down with you and hear you. And maybe something's already happening, in another county, another seat. They kind of get wind of it, but it's important to you. So now they team together and they co-sponsor the bill, and you just build momentum for these issues that are important to you. Don't take yourself out of the game. I think a lot of times we go and we just vote and then kind of take our hands off. That's the downfall in Washington. That's the downfall in your county commission, your city councils, or whether it's Montgomery. We have to stay in conversation with them. Otherwise, it's just the lobbyists talking to them. And that's never good. JP?
Yep. Would you waddle?
Would you waddle?
Would you waddle wear wet socks all day?
No.
Or wear shoes that are 2 sizes too small?
Oh, shoot.
2 sizes. It's a lot. I'm going wet socks.
Oh, the wet socks literally give me chills, but I got to go wet socks.
That's bad.
That is not fair.
Would you rather be the smartest person in the world or the funniest?
Funniest. 100%.
Because like what we just talked about, you could be the smartest person in the world, but can be dry and dull and nobody wants to talk to you. You don't get anything done. Where you can be like, I'm not as smart as you, but then people like to be around you, and then you can have other smart people do your stuff for you.
And if you know you're not smart, generally that's a really good quality. Yeah, I'm going funny. Y'all have a great night. JP, are you going to play college football again tonight? You have a date?
Yeah, I think I'll hang with my amazing girlfriend tonight.
Your old lady?
Yeah.
Hang with the old lady.
Since we didn't hang out last night for the first time in a long time.
Did you cry yourself to sleep?
I did. I think you can see my eyes.
You just stayed up too late playing Call of Duty.
I did.
All right. Y'all stay on the right side. We'll see you soon.